There are so many new technological advances in permanent makeup all the time, so it can be hard keeping up and also expensive. So today I'm going to talk about the different ways you can power your permanent makeup machine and which is the best. While you're here, you may want to subscribe so you don't miss any free educational content. I always try to give you honest, unbiased advice to help you advance your skills as quickly as possible. This includes brow mapping. So if you struggle with that, I'm launching a new 5-minute brow mapping course. So if that could help you, then click the link in the description. Okay, now let's look at the different power sources.
So what we've got here is a power supply. This is a Critical Atom X. It's got lovely disco lights on it, and when you change the speed on it, the colours change. This is powered up to your mains here, and this bit goes to your machine, and this is an RCA cord. So what you're going to get with this is consistent power all the time. So you'll change the voltage here, you can see the colour change, and then you're going to get that consistent power all the way. What happens though is you get your cord, and what a lot of artists find is when they're working, as you can see, it's getting in the way. I even see artists with the cord wrapped around the neck because they find that it gets in the way of the work while they're working, and they get knotted up. Also, when you're going back and forth to your client, because of that movement, it happens with me a lot that I get twists in it, and so I'm having to stop what I'm doing halfway through, lift up my my cord and let it spin out to get rid of all the twists. Also, when you're twisting like that, and also you can run over these with your wheels, and just having this constant bend in them and the bend here while you're working means that after a while your RCA cord does tend to start cutting out, so you must always have a spare one if you're wanting to power your machine. So always have a spare RCA cord, because honestly the fear of your machine cutting out and you not having one, and maybe you're halfway through a treatment, you'd never want to revisit that. So this is how I would recommend you start off powering your machines. Okay, so this is your alternative here, is a battery. And that just plugs to the end where your RCA cord goes. And then you're not tethered or tied, you can work wherever. So I think these are great for if you want to move around your clients. If you're doing hair strokes, you can just nip from one side to the other. I use them a lot for areola because I work from both sides of my clients. If you're someone who wants to work from both sides of your client, then the battery is great. I'll just switch that on. So you can see there. Now, a lot of these, they say they've got like 10 hours lifespan, but I would argue they don't have 10 hours power of the same magnitude. You can feel it running out after a few hours in the clinic. So I would say that the power is not consistent, and therefore you may not get consistent work. So is it worth it? What I would suggest is, if you're wanting to move to battery, that you have two, and that you keep one on charge all the time, and then maybe after each treatment or a couple of treatments you swap them over. Also, this then changes the weight of your machine. Your machines are balanced. This one has all its weight in the middle, so that makes it nice and steady in your hands, and as soon as you add extra weight to the end, you're overbalancing, so you can see that drops down quick. So this is going to change the weight of your work. Now, this battery is from Bishop, and it's really quite nice and light, so it doesn't change it that much, but it does change it still. Also, if your battery is heavy, it's going to add extra weight to your machine and also extra weight to your work. So you may be, if you're heavy-handed, it is adding a little bit more weight to that. So my recommendation is have both. Have both. If you have a battery, have two. Have one on charge all the time, and always have a backup power supply, because if you've got an RCA, then whatever happens to your battery, and sometimes I find the batteries just do start cutting out after about a year. I've not found one that's gone longer than that. This one is a Bishop one. It's really nice and light, and so far it's doing me well for a couple of months, but I can't say that I'm thrilled by either. Both have their positives and their drawbacks. Let me know which you prefer in the comments.
So to sum up then, you're never going to go wrong with a wired power source. These are much more reliable for consistent power, which is hugely important for consistent results. However, the wires can be annoying and get tangled. It's also much harder to move around your client. Batteries are great for moving around, and I do that a lot for machine hair strokes and areola work. I can, however, hear my battery start to lose power much quicker than the manufacturers say. So it would be a good idea to at least have two, so one can always be on charge for the long days in the clinic. Also, the battery changes the weight distribution of your machine and can add weight or overbalance you. So I'd advise against using one until you're sure of your depth. A heavier one I used also contributed to my joint pain in my fingers, which is really serious in this line of work. So my advice, have a wired power source as backup always, and if you use a battery, have two, and make sure they're light. I recommend the one I use from Bishop. I've mentioned machine speed a couple of times on this video, but it's a crucial thing to understand how fast your machine should be. I've made this video here to explain it. Thanks for joining me today. I welcome all your likes, subscriptions and comments and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.